Good morning. Let's get started. So, another Sunday, another coding stream. Gonna try to do some more stuff on the my first mod for Minecraft, 1.20 using Fabric. Had some ideas for some things that we could try out, and we'll see where it goes from there. Made a couple of issues with a couple of ideas here. See if we can do some of this, see how that goes. The second one here, making a wand that shoots particles. I had Blender already, but I also downloaded Blockbench, I think that's what it's called, which I've not really used before, but came pretty highly recommended. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Hey, Runacrow, morning. How's it going? I'm very AP but alive. I don't know what. Sleepy. Got it. Yeah. Sorry. No, that makes sense. I've made it most of the way through my coffee. My usual 2 shots of espresso with some flavored creamer. So, oh, right. So, I have many tabs. We're not going to get through all these tabs today. Also, it's so bright. Anyway, I think I last week was saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice if, things would reload changes without having to stop and start Minecraft each time, and it seems like maybe that's a thing. We just need to run Minecraft in debug mode. Is that an option? I guess we click F5 here. Also, this morning, as I was getting things set up and thinking about how I wanted to do this, I got tired of Control-W not working to close tabs in IDEA, in IntelliJ, or whatever you call this thing. This IDE. So I switched the key bindings, which is a thing. Actually forgot the Visual Studio was a thing. I picked this first, and then things were still not working. But there's a plugin, actually. If you click here, more key maps. There's a bunch of different ones. I guess we could go with IDEA Vim. That would be a hoot. Actually, I was thinking about trying NeoVim again at some point, but maybe that could be a fun thing. Just do Minecraft mod development inside of Vim. Anyway, so there's a VS Code key map, which I have installed and configured here, so we can do things like Control-Shift-P, which brings up this thing, which is kind of similar to the command palette in VS Code. Anyway, okay, so F5 to run this in debug mode, the Minecraft client, and then as long as we're only changing method bodies, like if we add new methods or classes and do stuff like that, then maybe it won't work, which I think my sense is there's going to be a lot of that. A lot of things where we'll just have to stop Minecraft anyway. There's something here called TCEVM. I don't know what that's about. And there's information about like if we're changing textures or blocks or whatever. Of course, we can do F3T. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. So the first thing that I was thinking is let's make a command. Let's do a command. We'll get to the spawns particles part. I think for right now we're probably just going to. I found so Fabric has a bunch of tutorials and documentation. It seems pretty well documented in terms of like, here's some starter things, including like example code to do a lot of things. So that's really helpful. Basically, I'm going to copy paste some of this, and we're going to get something that we can run a command, and we'll get a message back, and then we'll go from there. So let's see, how are things laid out here? So I think in source main Kotlin, there we go. So there's the main class. Let's make a little bit more room. We don't need quite so much window here. There we go. Move this around. All right, so we have our onInitialize. Interesting. Let me check something really quick. Trying to figure out where that name came from. I guess maybe it might be in, let's look in here. I have so many different git configs. I guess it's possible that interesting. Okay. Right, so what were we doing? We were going to add a command. And so we want to register a callback. There's a lot of registering of callbacks, which is a thing you do in games in general. Not just in modding, but a lot of event-driven stuff going on in game development. Alright, so that's kind of the bones. We're not there yet. Also, can I turn on wrapping? Nope. Alt-Z still works. Great. Alright, so that, and then we'll close that, and what's it complaining about? Unexpected tokens. Probably also need to import that. There we go. Register. None of the following functions can be called with the arguments supplied. What have I missed here? What is literal here? let's take this out. Interesting. So this is what Copilot has handed us. Third argument. Okay. All right. So there are differences between Java and Kotlin. I don't know exactly what those are, since I have like 2 hours of experience using Kotlin. But at least this gets us the dispatcher, right? And so we're not going to do this. We're going to do dispatcher dot execute. This, there we go. And then this takes a context. Interesting. So here's Copilot supplying us with, what is this? A command called Saban's first mod, maybe, that has like hello and goodbye subcommands. Anyway, I don't think we want that. So I'm looking here at this example over here. So this example calls dispatcher.register and literal foo.executes. Yeah, so this is wrong. Okay. So this looks closer to the example. We'll take this and use this as a base. So, but the command we wanted to have is like slash sparkles. Everyone likes sparkles, right? So what is this context here, and why doesn't it like it? Can I infer a lambda parameter type? Okay, it doesn't know what, probably we've not imported, yeah, control that, there we go. Right, we didn't have command manager imported, so I didn't know what to do, and rather than saying, hey, you haven't imported this, it complained elsewhere. Alright, so, we're probably going to eventually want the source player anyway, but what we can do is we can, okay, this looks familiar. Why does name here? Oh, there might not be a server player entity. Fair. Let's just handle if no player. Just skip it. Interesting. What does it mean? It was so interesting. So this suggests if null return break foldable to this. How do I feel about that? First of all, this is interesting syntax. Return at executes. This annotation that the IDE is giving us too is pretty interesting, telling us what we're returning from. I do like the final expression in a function being the return value. should do some more like closure script at some point. Okay. So that takes care of the error around here where player might be null. So it's definitively a server player entity here. We'll do this. Can we do emoji in the text here? So like, wait. There's a way of doing this in Windows, isn't there? Not that one. Yeah. Oop. Control W the wrong place. So how much is this gonna break things? We're gonna find out. Okay, so this should be a working command. Maybe. I guess I want a space there. And we'll run it. Let's see if this is broken since last week. Or if I missed something. That's also possible. Yep, a normal error. You're not going to trick me again this time. Alright, so we should be able to go into our creative world. Alright, so we have our chat message from our work last week. And then we should have a Sparkles command. There it is. We did it. So if we were to change the message a little bit, and I save and restart, stop, run. If I just wanted to compile, and reload file. Is that a thing? Okay. Said that file was reloaded, so if we run the command, hey, slick. All right. We did it. That's the first step. But that's not what I mean by particles. Not just sparkles in chat. We'll make some actual particles, for which I think we're done with this commands thing for now. There's more to commands, like subcommands and all sorts of things, I think, but this is enough for us to be able to do something before we've created an item. So there's a whole thing here about adding particles. Let's make that a little bit wider. How about like that? There we go. So it explains here that particles are textures used for special events and additional visual effects. Yep. So we can make a particle type, and we can register it, and we have to make a model and a texture apparently. And that's the end. That's the end of the tutorial. Okay, so let's start with something here. So their example is saying public static final. I think there's a different way of doing this in Kotlin. Particle type. Sparkle. It gets it. I think we just say const. Val. This is the Kotlin way. Let's see here, and then we'll register. Registry.register. Hey, look, Copilot, I think, has got it. It's a particle type, and then identifier, and sparkle. Probably that one. Probably that one. Doesn't like something here. Should it be private? I don't know that it should be private. So this registry, maybe that was the wrong registry. Maybe it was supposed to be this registry. You know, it's helpful in these like examples if it actually shows where these types are coming from. Like the link is appreciated, but the link is just like, okay. So maybe not this registry. Maybe Java RMI registry. Why red squiggly? Unresolved reference. Okay. Cool. Const val has type. Only primitives and string are allowed. What does it mean? Unresolved reference register. Unresolved reference particle type. Okay, so this is not, well, yeah, obviously this is not right. But what should it? We tried the other import and that didn't work either. Import class. So it should be net.minecraft.registry, right? You would think. If we're getting particle type from there. Unresolved reference particle type. Yeah, VS Code also thinks that, or Copilot thinks that that's right. Maybe we should fix this. Interesting. Is that what that returns? Default particle type. Const val. What? Okay, remove const modifier or make private. Make internal. Okay. Still getting an error about particle type. Unresolved reference. That, I mean, that makes sense. We aren't getting any autocomplete out of registry. Which registry is particle type coming from? Hold on. Let's see here. Fabric API particle type. You know what? Let's just search Fabric. Maybe we can find where it's defined. Or we can find an example. No, because the example doesn't include the import. This is interesting. Here's somewhere that's referring to a particle type. Is it the same thing? I don't know. But at least this should have an import. Using registries. Not registry. Yeah. Did we? Yep. Okay. So... is there a discussion page for this? Do I want to really make an account? I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be registries. At least this seems to work. Particle type does exist on registries. Okay, redundant semicolons all around. And unlike JavaScript, we probably don't have to worry about certain issues with not including semicolons. It says properties could be private. That may be true. Okay, so compile and there's no shortcut, huh? Control dot to assign a shortcut. What do we want for compile and reload file? Interesting. It says press Control dot to assign a shortcut, but that doesn't seem to work. Hot swap failed. Schema change not implemented. Aww. Oh, it's because we added a new member, probably on the class. I guess we're gonna have to restart. Not allowed to run in parallel. Stop the running one. Yes. I guess we could at least do that. Not that it matters. all that much. So, I mean, we're not done. We still need to do the client side bit. We need to make a texture, all that stuff. I guess I mostly wanted to see that it would compile and the game would start. We'll open this up. But we're not using the particle or anything, so it's not going to do anything yet. But make sure we haven't broken anything. Great. All right, onwards. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the game anyway, because probably subsequent changes are going to break things. All right, so it says we need to register on the client side, so there's a separate class for that in src client Kotlin. A bunch of directories. And we have our client mod initializer, and we have on initialize client, and so we are saying, what is this saying? Client sprite registry callback dot event player screen handler block atlas texture. This is only used if you plan to add your own textures for the particle. I think we're gonna do that just because it'll be fun. We'll do something in Paint, quick and dirty, just to see what it looks like, and we can iterate. So I guess this tells the client that it needs to look up the particle, the texture for the particle. That's what this part does. And then particle factory registry get instance register green flame to flame particle.factory new. First argument is our particle's instance up here. Second argument is the particle's factory. The factory controls how the particle behaves. Okay, so we'll be able to mess with this too to try different behaviors. Okay. All right, so we get some code from Copilot here. Now, of this, what do we actually want? Is this the right code? It's always a question. I think, well, we don't need that. We only need one line here, and we don't need Atlas texture. And is this, cannot infer, oh, right, well, we need to do imports. So we'll do imports. Particle, sparkle. All right, and then no, don't create that. Did I typo this? Or client sprite registry callback? It doesn't seem to have an import for that. What about player screen handler? That is importable. What about this callback here? Nope, doesn't know how to find that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Fabric MC GitHub. I'm gonna find where this actually is. Nowhere. Oh, it's mentioned here. This is the right repo, right? Seems like it should be. There are no code results. Is this document out of date? I was hoping I was going to be able to trick Copilot into giving us the correct name of the thing that we need. So this is this part. Okay, I guess we'll skip that part for now, and we'll just do this part, and maybe this will work. Get instance register Sparkle factory. A Sparkle particle dot factory? I don't think is a thing. Flame particle factory. Now, is the syntax work in Kotlin? I don't know. We can import that, so that's good. There's not a register. Default particle type? Okay. Well, what's the problem here? Particle type, particle registry, particle factory registry, pending particle. Create an extension function. More actions. I don't know what that means. What is... Interesting. I don't want to do that. Oh, you know what? It helps if I import the thing. That doesn't appear to be correct syntax. What about this? No idea. It's not right. Doesn't like that second argument. Factory does not have a companion object, and this must be initialized here. So in the example, it had this. Doesn't like that. What is the type of this? Okay, and what is register supposed to take? Let's see if I can parse what this is trying to tell me. Second argument should be, I'm going to look at that second definition first. It seems a little bit simpler. Particle factory with a type variable t, where t is type variable t for something. That is an interesting set of things that it's trying to tell me something. I just wish I knew what it was. you know, there's always a thing we can do when trying to figure out something. Which is see what other people have done. Which in a way effectively is what Copilot is doing for us. But sometimes it's nice to see like the context in which someone had been doing something. Damage particle : factory. Hey, what about flame particle : factory? All right. Hey, is there an example on here of doing the other thing? Client sprite registry callback. Where was that imported from? So, does this exist? Okay, that doesn't seem to exist. Client sprite registry callback. Nope, don't know. I guess we could look at some of the other examples and see if they're doing something different. I'm guessing. Ooh, another avenue to explore would be to go back to the Fabric. Fabric MC. And find. It's kind of interesting because I would think that there would be like, what were we searching for? What was this tutorial trying to have us do? Use client sprite registry callback. There would be some results outside of the code about this if this had changed. Let's search pull requests. So 2019. No results. So why? So this was in October of last year. So what happened to it? Let's double check something here. So we're on 1.20.1. Maybe in 1.20.1 this file doesn't exist anymore. And no match is found. If we go to 1.19 dot something. No. When did this exist? Ah. Yeah, Fabric Textures version 0. So can we, like if we go here, file doesn't exist. Can we look at the history of this file Hey, look, deprecated. Use client sprite registry callback instead of event. Yeah. So this was 3 years ago. Now what I'm trying to figure out how to do is to figure out where this file went. So if we look at 1.19, doesn't exist. So sometime after 1.18.2 and 1.19, this file went away. Okay, 1.19 experimental still had this. But there's still no comment saying this whole thing is deprecated, is going to go away. Is there, I wonder, Fabric MC 1.19 changes? Hey Meme PP, how's it going? What do I think of GPT-4? I have not actually used GPT-4 like directly. Like, let's see, what have I used? So, GitHub Copilot here. Some other things here and there. Actually have been paying for, yeah, think it's pretty good. Okay. Well, I might have to bump it up my list then of things to check out. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I also have I've been paying for Midjourney for doing some cool generative art stuff. There was another website that I came across that actually I used to generate. So yeah, not a good visual thinker though. Yeah. So like this desktop background was from Midjourney. And then my profile avatar that I've been using in various places is from that Neural Love website. The one that's here and this thing. I did. I just was like, it did turn out exactly what I wanted, but it was kind of a, I was very in I wanted kind of, I think the prompt was something like something cyberpunk city something or other, and so it wasn't exactly what I was after when I did it, because I was looking for some inspirations for some other things, but I was like, oh, that's really cool, I'm gonna grab that. Alright, what was I searching for in this? Something to do with client registry, something client sprite registry callback. I have a feeling it's not going to be explicitly called out here. I'm guessing because this was actually in the V0 package. it was just dropped. But it's not clear what I should be using instead. So 1.20. Anyone talking about this? What about 1.19? Where did you go? How do you create custom particles on 1.19.3? Oh, hey, look, there's no comments. Atlases. Okay, that's a hint. Fabric. MC. Atlases. It would be a good GPT question. Maybe so. I've had some luck with being like, you know, what I tried earlier, which is like the above doesn't work, so instead we have to do this, something like that. Just not in this case. Copilot is a tiny model, totally different use case than a large model like GPT-4. It's hard to overstate the difference. Yeah, I have seen some people use GPT-4. I don't know. I tend to really appreciate, different uses, exactly. So I really tend to like appreciate the more autocomplete feel for Copilot, where I can be typing something and it's going to suggest something. Now, those suggestions are not always things that can literally be used, but they're you know, they're good prompts for me. Kind of flipping that, you know. I'm not prompting it, it's prompting me. But yeah, it's a bit different. And there is like there is a thing. I don't have the chat extension on this. That's only in VS Code. Hey Mono, how's it going? Yeah, doing Kotlin today, at least for probably half the stream. Let's see how it goes. Doing some modded Minecraft. Yeah. So I have a total of now 2.5 hours of experience using Kotlin. I know very little. But yeah, we're doing some Fabric mod development. Yeah, you like Kotlin? Oh, so far so good. I've learned today that it supports, you can have your last expression in a function be the return value. I learned about this interesting syntax here. Yeah, it's okay, you write Java, but way less and more modern. Yeah, there's definitely been some things where like there's examples, like in the Fabric tutorials where it's like Java code, and then, oops, those are tabs that we're not ready to go to yet. And they don't quite work as is. Hey, Brainless, how's it going? Or would you prefer that I address you with your full name? Or is there a different variation that you would prefer? Maybe it's a little... I realize maybe addressing you as Brainless is maybe potentially could be interpreted as insulting. And you get the Elvis operator, way more fun. Yes. This was something that the IDE suggested. Because all of the syntax is new to me as of in the last hour. Oh no, dreaming about the bug. Was it a good dream? Did you fix the bug in your dream? Or was it more of a nightmare? Brainless is more than fine. Okay. Thanks. But do you know why it's the Elvis operator? I don't. I don't know why it's the. Do you? I mean, is it something to do? Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, Elvis Presley did have a certain expression. I just don't see how that maps to that. Second time I dream about it, but never remember. Of course not. Yeah, the eyes. Oh, the hair. Oh, that way. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. I think I see what's being gone for there. Yeah. Okay. What was I doing? I was trying to figure out what the correct thing to do is, because the tutorial on particles is out of date. Now, I guess for right now, in the interest of like having maybe more the Johnny Bravo style hairstyle, yeah. In the interest of like having something, maybe we'll skip the custom texture bit. Right, this is only used if you plan to add your own textures for the particle. Otherwise, remove this. So there must be a proper way of doing this, but it seems like this is out of date. So, okay, create two files: the particles model and texture. So this is the assets mod ID particle screenflame.json. This will tell Minecraft which textures are used for a particle. And then you put the texture in textures. So we want to create a model. Let's see, src main resources, assets, mod ID, and this is our mod ID, right? Nope, I changed it. Okay, so this is wrong. Rename. I changed the dashes to underscore after I had created the project. Okay. And then we're going to create a folder called particles, or a directory, whichever name you prefer. Particles. Having troubles with that word today. 80% of the code you write is Kotlin, if I have any questions. I think it's too early. Like, as we go on, I am probably going to hit more stumbling blocks. 0% of yours is Kotlin, don't ask me anything. Well, I'm somewhere in between. Like I said, I did a little of this last stream, and then I think we're just going to chip away at this for the first half of these coding streams. Kind of make some progress in learning how to do mod development, and eventually at some point, some idea. I think two possible things, right? One, we might emerge with an idea for a mod to do, or we might look at like doing bug fixes and stuff, and like contributing to some existing mods, because I know there are some bugs out there, some of the mods that I like and use. Oh, really? So maybe I missed that prompt. All right, so we're going to create a file, and this is going to be called sparkles.json. Do I want to add it to Git? Yes. And I guess we have to do textures. Minecraft colon something. What's an existing texture we can use? Oh yeah, you can shift 4. So I changed the I changed the key map to be VS Code. So it's Control Shift P to open this thing, and then convert to Kotlin. Of course, if we were, oh hey look, those are those options. Yeah, all sorts of things. Anyway, what is a texture we can use? That's probably not a thing, right? Minecraft particle textures. This page uses too many images. Interesting. Let's see. Conduit. Semi-static. Splash. Okay. This is interesting, but maybe not exactly what I'm looking for. Because I'm looking for like the actual like internal name of the thing. With their ID, particle IDs. No, particle textures. There we go. Flame. That's kind of just what I was looking for. Maybe it should be Flame Atlas. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so this should add the particle. It's still not gonna do anything. But now I guess the question is, how do we, let's go back to this. When I set this up, was there something I did that specifically said that there would be a texture? No, I just registered this, right? Okay. So, oh, we can test it using /particle. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to update our command to spawn some particles where the player is, kind of like what this /particle command does. But we'll do it in code, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that. And that'll be kind of a good place to start with then making an item that generates some particles. Which is kind of the first step in having some kind of like magic wand type thing. I don't know if that will turn into anything, but I think it's a good opportunity to like figure out a lot of like how you would do things in making a mod and making items and stuff. That was my reasoning anyway. Did I launch the calorie tracker? Yeah. It is up. It is at dailyjoule.app. It's not really launched yet because you can't sign up. There's a whitelist just for select people. Also, it sort of works. It's pretty janky still. It needs a lot of polish. So if you want to try it out, right now the whitelist goes off of the because it's just Discord-based authentication. So like you just sign in through janky is good. So I can whitelist, but I just need to know like your Discord user ID. Which is like if you click in your profile in Discord and you go down there, there's a thing that says copy user ID, maybe. It's a big long number. I guess I could probably look it up if I had the username, but yeah, that's just a very simple way of ensuring random people are not signing up and getting a negative impression. All right, so we're gonna do particle, and then Sabin's first. Hey, look, spawn that right here. It does nothing. All right, could not spawn particle effect. Well, this is looking very promising for a minute. Okay, displaying particle. Could not spawn particle effect. Displaying particle. Okay. So why? Why have you done this to me? Is it the texture? This is in the right place, right? Resources. Yeah. So hold on. Can we just want to verify something. Open in Explorer. There we go. Particles. Sparkles.json. You had some unforeseen but should have been foreseen issues getting your project live. Yeah. App Store things, or I know I've definitely read of some issues with getting things published, which I'm completely avoiding by just not making native apps. App Store things, mostly trade. Oh yeah. Intellectual property stuff can get complicated. So why? Oh hey, look, source. Okay, there's a repo. Ooh, for 1.19. So this would have been after the change. So maybe we can actually see what they did here. Oh, they just skipped having the custom texture, I guess. Okay, how is this different? You're reaching out to Premier League to ask permission to use the logos. Yeah, it makes sense. So what did we do wrong here? So we got Sparkle. It's the identifier for this particle. Hey, look, registries. Sparkle here refers to that. Default particle type, Sparkle, Fabric particle types dot simple. Are there other options? Complex. Okay. What else? So if this doesn't have the custom texture, then oh, maybe it does. Maybe the other part isn't needed anymore. Maybe let's try. Okay, so Sabins, can't even type my own name. First mod, sparkles. So we'll do the custom texture. So we'll make a new directory. we'll try anyway. New directory, textures, particle. I do that right? Great. And then we're gonna make a sparkles.png. Yep. Well, we're gonna create an empty file called that. Let's see. We're gonna fire up Paint. We're gonna do 16 by 16. 16 by 16. Brilliant. And what is this gonna look like? It's gonna look like programmer art. Let's see. So first of all, can we have transparency? Is that allowed? Maybe if I didn't use Paint. I just didn't want to fire up something more complicated. Yeah, I have Krita. And I'll probably do that. Hey, look, all the thumbnails from all the Create Astral. Okay, where is this project? No idea. Hold on. How do I even? Resources, assets, textures, particle or particles? Particle, okay. Cool. Great. Okay. And how did I pick up Kotlin? Well, I Fabric, the Fabric mod website has a mod generator that gives you like a starting template with like the core class things you need for client side and server side and all the project setup stuff. And there's an option there to choose Kotlin. And I was like, okay, it's not enough that I'm gonna learn how to do, to make mods for Minecraft, since I've never done that before. We should make it harder by also bringing in a different language that I've never used before. And so I can really, look really, I don't know. Oh, there we go. There's our image. Woo. Really show the struggle on stream, right? Okay, so is this enough? With Java? Yeah. Yeah. I had, because this is not, like recently, it's not the first time I've thought about doing some modded Minecraft development. In the past, I really wanted to do like something with Clojure, but it was not really clear how to actually make that happen. And now my Clojure is pretty rusty. It's been a while. And Kotlin seems, from what I've seen of it, better than Java. I mean, there's always we could do Scala. Yeah, Kotlin is a nice language. I have used Scala in the past for doing stuff on the JVM. and it was fun. I have recollections of a lot of pain, but also being really pleased with how like things shook out at the end. Oh, Kotlin compiled the JavaScript and native too. Brandon, you're saying I want to learn to do NVim plugins to implement the VS Code features that allow you to see Git changes to a file per commit and write. I was playing around with NeoVim the other day and just like looking at what it would take to get some stuff set up. I have an old Vim set up. It's in my like .files repo on GitHub. So you can see what a mess it is as I threw the kitchen sink into that over the years. But I saw there was a lot of, it looked like Lua was the main thing for doing stuff for NeoVim. And that's kind of interesting. I have in the past not had a positive impression of using Lua. I think mainly because there was one situation in which I was looking at doing, was it like something for Redux maybe? And being forced to deal with Lua and just like jumping in the deep end and not kind of like here with Kotlin, but you know, it being a work thing, just like trying to force myself through it to get something done without taking the time to really learn it, and then being very frustrated. And that's more a statement about, you know, where I was then rather than the language. I have actually been looking at Lua recently too, thinking about some stuff for computer craft and in Minecraft to solve some problems. Okay, so we're not doing mining levels. It seems like maybe we have everything we need now for the texture. Lazy Vim? Yeah, I think I came across that in terms of like managing extensions. You still can't use VS Code, doesn't make sense to switch. I like VS Code. I have not used like the IntelliJ stuff all that much. It made sense for the stream to use it because it seemed like the path of least resistance, and there was, on the other hand, it's yet another new thing that I'm having to learn on stream. I'm a native app dev. If I switch, yeah. I'm sure there's probably some stuff that someone has done for like extensions for VS Code that might help. Right? It's all about the extensions, but you know, if no one is trying to use VS Code to do that, there's probably not good extensions for it either. So let's see if adding the texture improves the situation. Let's see. We want to... I guess I didn't really change any code here, right? I just added this. So maybe we can do F3T. Yeah, too far behind. Yeah. Yeah, LazyVim is a plugin manager, but the same author made a distribution, which is basically a base configuration. Oh, interesting. Can you send me a link to that? Or I guess I could Google it. I think I've made it so that people could post links in the chat. I may have to revisit it later if that ever becomes an issue, but okay. So let's sparkle. Nope, still not working. Have the previews of Android Studio Xcode? Yeah, probably not. I mean, you could make an extension to probably do just about anything, right? But someone would have to do that. Yeah, I would be curious to see that. Are you in our Discord? Looks like no. Do you know about did we talk about the Discord? Also, did you know that there's like all of these different commands that I set up in here? Never open it.
You're not a fan? Not a fan of Discord? Well, you're not, of course, not obligated to. You could, yeah, there you go. Yeah, of course, the stack is wrong because it's talking about the other thing that we're working on that we'll be probably starting on shortly. I have not made it smart enough to like switch what it says. Bam. All right, so I still don't know why we can't spawn particle effects. Minecraft Fabric. I'm just going to try restarting. Just in case. Yeah, here's some stuff about actually doing this via code. Client world add particle is a thing. At least it was 2 years ago. Okay. What if we search for exactly this phrase? No results. No one has had this problem. I'm the only one. Just me. Last thing I did with Minecraft and Dev was hosting a Minecraft server using Node to be able to send admin commands via WebSocket. Yeah. So I was looking, like I mentioned, I was looking at the CC Twisted, CC whatever it is, basically the computer craft for Fabric port. Yeah, 7 years ago. That was a long time, sort of, in Minecraft. And also not that long of time, but I was looking at the docs for that, and it's really interesting because it looks like so Fabric is a mod loader and like API, so a thing that you can use to be able to like code against to be able to interact with Minecraft. The other one that's really popular is Forge, so there are now. There are mods for Forge and mods for Fabric. And so when you have a mod pack, it'll either use Forge or Fabric, not both. So now, if you're making a mod pack, you get to pick based on what mods are available for the version of Minecraft you're wanting to mod and which loader. No particle effect. Sad. Okay, well, I have to ponder that. But yeah, so the computer craft now has a thing where you can interact with, like, you can subscribe to a WebSocket inside of it. I think for a long time it's had the ability to like fetch your website. Fair on the secrets and the thing. You could probably. Can you send a file via DM? How does one send files in the year 2023 across the internet? Anyway, we'll figure it out. But the base config is good enough anyway. Okay, I'll definitely check that out. I'm curious about how things would work. Doing some of the things now that I've gotten used to using VS Code and now IntelliJ apparently, but mostly VS Code in the last like 5 years. It'd be interesting to see what it'd be like to do some more Vim stuff. As an example by default. Okay. Anyone have any guesses as to why we can't spawn the particle effect into Ruby with debugging? Yes. I may be doing some Ruby dev for work at some point in the future. We'll see. So it says displaying particle, but could not spawn particle effects. Fabric particle types. So that's... Give ourselves a little bit more room. So that's this dot simple, right? Is this particle type? Yeah. I don't want to go too much detail into like all the different things, and in my work life, I'm not gonna mix these things together. But yeah, there's a few different languages that may. Okay, I'll let you know, Brainless. You just finally ditched Ruby fully, so happy. You don't like Ruby? Oh, I see. You only used Ruby for Cocoa Pods for iOS. I don't even know what Cocoa Pods is. I got hired as a senior Ruby developer without knowing anything about Ruby. I bet that would be fun for a little bit, a little exciting. I mean, I've used Ruby and Ruby on Rails once. I did a project. It was like a multiplayer Minesweeper type thing many years ago. And it was not awful. You even asked in an interview to do it in Python? Sure. I guess my point being that, you know, if you're familiar with doing like web application stuff and you have the background in general, like the specifics of the language are not a huge obstacle, unless it's like a contract gig or something that's really short term, where you, if the point is you're being hired for a position for the long term, you know, you're gonna have to learn a bunch of things about the context of the domain or the business, processes and procedures and those sorts of things anyway. It could be Elixir or Rust or whatnot, and in a couple of months I'm sure you'd be up to speed. Yep. So, I mean, in terms of the particles, we're not doing anything. We're like, this should be the simplest thing. And we have now a full example mod. Let's just like go through this whole thing really quick. Now this appears to be for 1.19 and we're on 1.20 now. So a little different, but. So example mod is basically the equivalent of this file. And so on initialize, it's calling registry.register, particle type, mod identifier for the thing, and then green flame. I wish there was a way to control double clicking, not opening that panel. Anyway, and then the instance of the particle, which is this here, Fabric particle types that simple. So that all looks good. And then the client side, uninitialized clients, particle factory registry, get instance, register. And this is slightly different because, well, okay, maybe this is just wrong, right? So we translated this Java to this Kotlin. Is this right? Like, I think I tried this and this was not. Yeah, this gives an error. So mono, there's a question for you. You're still learning Swift at the moment for work, and I hate how the old dev did his logic. So whack. So on the right hand side we have some Java code, and it's trying to grab, I guess, the constructor for this factory thing from Flame Particle. So one, my knowledge of Java is old and out of date, but then I know nothing about Kotlin. So what I had tried, what it would seem to kind of sort of work, at least it satisfied the type, was to do Flame Particle : factory here. Are these equivalent? You believe so? I hope so. On the other hand, if they weren't, if I was doing something wrong here, that'd be great. In terms of like figuring out why this is not working. Okay, so we continue. We continue looking. Okay. Resources. Anything in fabric.mod.json that we need to modify that wasn't called out in the tutorial? Mod ID is with underscores. We have main and client entry points. Yeah, that's all good. This is placeholder, don't need that. And then assets mod ID. So assets, Sabin's first mod. Icon, particles. Sabin's first mod, sparkles. Checks out. And then we go up to mod ID, textures particle, this is like a 16 by 16 image, right? 16 by 16 PNG, right? So it seems like we have everything in place. Of course, maybe something has changed in between 1.19 and 1.20. Okay, well, it's about time for me to get some water. Finish my coffee, and I need to get some water and take a little break here. And we're gonna switch things up. So when I return, we're going to take a look at the state of Daily Joule, which is the calorie counting web app that has been in progress for quite a while, but we've done a couple of different bits of rewrites on stream here, so we'll keep at it. Oh, no, still broken. Okay. Anyway, one last shot. All right, so be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, I am back. Just getting things set up again. There's Daily Joule. Let's split this over here, over there. Thank you for the welcome. Let's switch this over this way. There we go. I don't know why the package lock had changed. I'll just discard that. I'll pull down. Hello, Pack. I'm brainless. Nice. Good one. It's a classic. Okay, so looks like the last thing that happened was some dependency updates. We did some fixes. Why don't Americans understand the metric system? I mean, there's not a lot to understand, right? It's Automod did not like that. I'll allow it. I may come to regret adding that as a permitted term. All right. Okay. So, how do we work on this thing again? Right. We have commands. We got VS Code tasks to kick off Docker Compose locally. Yep. This may even work. And then we have a VS Code task to start Storybook, which I think was a little bit broken last time. At least the docs portion. We should probably fix that at some point. Although I feel like I've invested a lot of time into keeping Storybook working. And theoretically, it would be really good, especially if there was more than me working on this. It would make a lot more sense. But on the other hand, I kind of have some interest in Storybook working for other projects. Or I should say, knowing how to get Storybook working for advocacy purposes. Did I mention I created a few entry point scripts to work exclusively from within our containers in Vim? A few entry point scripts to work exclusively. So like is this you're running things in Vim and it's calling into the containers, or you're running in Vim inside of the containers? I install everything required to, then jump into a container and work from there. I see. So the entry point just runs a series of installs. Oh, so this is like the containers entry point that sets up the install, and then you can run a command inside of from that container. Am I getting it? Correct. Great. Okay. So, I mean, Storybook's all great and all, but I think we're bug hunting today, or looking for features to add, or some combination of things. I may at some point add additional. I got feedback from a friend who I was going to have help test this and start use this, and they did not want to. It looks pretty weird on mobile, which is a whole other thing. That one, I don't have a lot of experience designing web UIs that look good on mobile, so we'll probably have to dive into that. Like, this should be okay-ish, not terrible. What does the diagram look like? It looks like this. Also, there we go. So maybe we'll focus on this kind of view from now on. But the feedback was basically they did not want to use it because they didn't want to have to click a thing that brought them to like a Discord login page. It seemed kind of sus. Even though it was, you know, the actual Discord login page. Yeah, I know. But the problem... Okay, so let's fix this. So the contrast in dark mode is not... It's good for the panel. It's not good for the blue of the links. And what's really frustrating is that the... like, we have this theme page, and it's broken in Storybook. So I guess what we can do is we can just figure out what the colors should be, and we'll fix it in place. Where are these colors coming from? Here it is. Yeah, contrast analyzers. I think there might be something like baked into Firefox. You gotta run, Mono? Yeah, it is pretty early where you are. Yeah, thanks for stopping by and chatting and all of that. See you next week. Is there... Ship it now. Well, it's shipped. It needs to be shipped some more, I guess. I like the emote. Alright, so... yeah. Isn't there a thing... interesting. Dark color scheme simulate. What does that do? Interesting. Oh, this probably changes what the like the user agent setting for light versus dark mode. WebAIM's contrast checker. Yeah, let's check that out in a second. So I think what this does, there we go. So this changes the user agent setting in the browser. Neat. Print simulation mode. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what is this thing? WebAIM contrast checker, first result. Oof. Interesting. I mean, I already know that it's not good. Every time I look at this, I'm like, I don't like it. I like dark mode. I don't like this. Now, First of all, can we get this? What is the actual effective color here? Okay, cool. 21, 21, 21. And what is the effective color? Okay, I don't think the color picker likes the mobile view. Also, it's broken. Someone said something in chat. I'm gonna look over there in just a second. Just place your background, color the text, and slide until all green checks. Yeah. Hey, look, all fails. Which slider? Okay. So what would it look like if we did this? Let's see. Where? Dark.team.ts. Let's see. No, I didn't want to do that. Let's look at light theme. Because dark theme just like tells Material UI to make a dark mode from this. So where is this blue color coming from? So what is this? This is 0B4480. Okay, so secondary main. Palette, secondary main. Palette, secondary main. Ta-da! I think that's better. This is wrong. Is that? Yeah, that should be a different color. Yeah, it looks much better. So let's just do the same thing with this. Is this just the default link color? Is that what's going on here? I think it is. Well, okay, so maybe we can do that. I need to figure out why. So I think there's, let's figure this out. So where is the footer being defined? And layout. It's just a link. Okay. Do we have a better component for this? There's a link component in Material UI, which should like take up our color styling and hopefully make this better. I'm not sure why we didn't use that in the first place. Have I been? Also, inconsistency here. But have I been importing directly from material like this, or have I been... okay, so a mix. I've been mixing them, either importing like from the top level thing or importing from the specific file. Another thing we could look at is how big is like the total, like the all the JavaScript stuff that we're bundling for Daily Jewel. Okay, we'll look at that next. Okay, so there, hey, that's nice. And then we switch back to light mode, and not quite so nice. Yeah, so let's look at that next. I'm gonna fix this the coloration here, because I have a feeling this is not great contrast on what is, I'm guessing this is just pure white. Yeah. I don't know if I like that color though. Yeah, I think there's some implications depending on how you're doing bundling for like tree shaking out things that you don't need. So I think there are definitely places where I've been importing directly from the file. But I think I'd rather see like, is it something that's significant enough? You know, are we having a negative effect before trying to solve a problem we may not have? So this color is not great, I think. I mean, it's okay. So where's that color coming from? So that's also on light theme. What was it originally? F2 CB05. Okay, that's our primary main color. So the problem with changing that, maybe not. Maybe this will be fine because we also have that color here. So if we put this here, yeah, that's well, maybe that's fine. No. Okay, so we need to make sure that these things are not affected. Let's see. So we want specifically things that are in the app bar. What can we do here? Style overrides? Topography root. So the issue is that this button is going to probably get the color directly. Yeah. Well, let's take a look. So this is in like app, no, menu, no, navigation, site navigation. Yeah. Wherever those individual ones are.
So this is set up so the buttons by default use the secondary color from the palette, and then that means that these are a bit different because they're using primary. Like these are buttons and these are buttons. So really what I want to do, I do want to have the light mode primary color be this, since most of the places where that primary color is used, it will be contrasted on top of white in light mode. And then specifically for things that are going to be on the app bar, I want to have it use a different color. I guess I don't want it to be primary or secondary. I want it to be an explicit color. What about adding the header background to the footer? Oh, that's a good one. Just to avoid the problem. So if we did that, then let's see, in layout. Yeah, we already have footer style, so we could background color. Can we? Let's see. Isn't there a way to do something like this? I guess not like that. But yeah, there should be a way to parameterize the, hold on, maybe if I search for this. Yeah, okay, so, like so, and then, all right. But what is the color that we're using for the heading? Where is that coming from? This nice blue. On the movie paper for the header. That's coming from site navigation. Right, I think that's coming from the theme as well, right? So that's coming from what color is that? 0B4480. So secondary, I see. Okay, well, yep, should work. If we just change this to theme.palette.secondary .main. There we go. Now there's a footer. Problem solved. And then if we go to dark mode, whoops. So why is this color And this is this color. Excuse me. Okay, default props color secondary. So you would think that the background for this would also be the same blue. We don't want this. We want it to be like this. So why is it different? Kind of odd. Well, I'm not exactly sure, but how do you spell palette? TTE? Yeah. Mode. You don't like that? Some kind of error? Theme.palette is undefined? It's like there's only one L in palette or something. Alright. That is interesting. I kind of like it. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Palette background default is probably... Let's not introduce a new thing. Background dot something default. Yeah. It's not bad. I could just make this. Whoops. That's no good. You gotta have the footer go all the way down to the bottom, right? Using flex. Yeah, how does one use flex again? Okay. Interesting. What is this info thing saying? Flex has no effect on this element since it's not a flex item. Add display flex. We do have display flex. On the parent, right? Yeah. This doesn't have any effect because flex is not set on the parent. It could be set on the parent. It's been over 2 years since you touched those things. Also, you were using grid. Yeah, I think we use grid somewhere in this.
I've used grid somewhere in the last 6 months. But this element specifically, this component, this wrapper component is not. Main styles. I see. And then we just have. So what's wrapping this? Nothing. So this is the root. So CS equals root styles. What if we were to do this? Interesting. That might actually be good, Copilot. Min height 100, view height. Might actually be good. And then flex 1 will actually have effect. I don't know that we need display. Well, this has children elements. But the link doesn't need display flex. I guess it does. Yeah, okay. Also, apparently we've done this. What did we do? So now our layout component is interesting. Why did we lose? Like this was wider before. I don't want it this narrow. We did something here. Margin 0 auto. Max width. Calc 75. What is the CH again? Is that like character height? No. Maybe. Padding width 100%. Width 100%. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that is more like it. What was it like before? Like that. And that changed that to that for some reason. And that changes it back. Okay, great. So now the footer stretches to fill any remaining space. Right, so anyway, so we were going to also focus on doing this, like, what does it look like on mobile? What is this? Whoops. I think we broke this, though. Should be max width. There we go. Now it's fine. I think maybe actually max width is working now. Hold on. Let's just increase the number. I guess we could do this in the browser. That would be more efficient. The main, right? Does changing this do anything? No. So now I need to see CSS units ch. Yes, so it's the width of the glyph 0 in the elements font, right? So that then allows us to say, hey, we want to have whatever 100, well, it was originally 75, I think. 75 zeros times 2. Although that's weird. Why wouldn't this just be 150? Okay. See, but that doesn't change anything. Is there something else preventing this from being bigger? Like the div there is fine. Margin 0 auto should be fine as long as we are... Anything else setting width here? No. Can we see computed? Okay, so max width is interesting. 1740 pixel max width. Is a lot. Maybe. But what's controlling the actual width? Min width? Like if I have all the screen real estate, I do not want this necessarily condensed into this narrow little column. Okay. So we have width 100% with a max width. That seems to be maybe better. And then if we switch this to here, yeah, okay. All right, now we're back where we started. Okay, but this works. All right, and what does this look like? Interesting. Ooh. Yeah, that looks so janky in a few different ways. First of all, the servings information is not here anymore. This is actually a different view. This is not actually like a modal rendered on top of like the other stuff. So the overall page is just this area, and so like we see the footer again, but we didn't see it in the past view. Got details here. We can see the lack of information we have on this item. Which is interesting. Like 0 is not invalid. I think it's actually there's nulls in the data. Which should just be zeros. They're not actually, well, maybe they're missing, but this item I happen to know I have sitting right here on the desk. In fact, has 0 sodium. But yeah, so it sort of mostly works. Although, hey, we found a bug. This does not work. But as promised, let's look at the, let's see, what's a good thing to look at here for seeing, we can just look at the network tab, clear all this and refresh. And what are we downloading? Well, locally it's a little different. Let's look at Daily Joule, the actual Daily Joule website. And clear this with disabled cache. And what are we downloading? That is all. Okay, so we get just the initial HTML is 800 bytes. So the main JavaScript file is 800 kilobytes. It's a little big. Now we're not doing any like code splitting or anything. But we could probably improve upon this. So we are hey, we got a little thing in Firefox to show us we could be faster. I mean, sub-second is better than some things I've seen in the world. Transferred size 1.6 megabytes. Time 1.08 seconds. Non-blocking time 1.09 seconds. So not great. Not awful, but not great. Is there a good way? Let's see. Vite bundle analyzer or visualizer. First result. I wish more sites would respect the user agent settings for dark versus light mode and have dark mode. All right, what do we need to do to actually use this? Projects root and run vBundle visualizer. And then so I guess the question is this going to tell us its Vite's effectiveness and like building something that's going to exclude things we don't want to actually ship? Like, will the visualizer reflect what'll actually be in the final bundle? Okay, well, we can give it a try. So where is our Vite config? It's in client, right? Yes. Okay. Ta-da! Just a few things. So the first thing I notice is I see things like pop over and switch and stuff from material that we're not using. All the stuff on the left are our components. Like all the stuff over here. Like this is our code. Tan stack. Zod, huh? Are we using Zod in the front end resources? Is Beats bundling excluding things we don't actually need? Let's see. Beat docs. Check your site with page speed insights. Is that a thing? Like, that feels like a thing that was a thing at one point in the, you know, in the history of the internet. Well, what is that? Is this like a Google thing? So you gave me a tongue stuck out emoji. So I don't know if this was like in jest or if that's like a, of course I should have I should have known to do this. Delicious. 5 seconds. Text compression was just reds, just a couple of reds. Yeah, we could probably, that should be like easy, right? Text compression for Nginx. Did we not have gzip on? Let's see. Nope. It's commented out. Compresses responses only with text HTML. I don't care about IE 6 or 8. I don't care about IE. Yeah, that's fine. All of those types. By default, Nginx does not compress responses to proxied requests. Whom does? Care about IE? I don't know anymore. I guess no one. That's more of a... That's a pre-computed thing for me from, you know, long ago when some people still did. So what is the setting that they're talking about doing? For the purposes, the gzip proxy directory has parameters in set Nginx check control cache control header and a response, and compress the response to the value is no cache, no store, or private. Include expired parameter to check the value of the expires header. And I think we do want that. Sure. Hey. It's like Copilot has read this article too. Even we might have dropped support for IE, yeah. It's... I do, tend to work kind of on internal UI stuff these days. So then I get to like, this is the one blessed browser that we're going to test for, which don't do that. If it's going to be for like the world to use, for people on the internet to use, you should test the multiple browsers. We don't want to end up in a situation. That's how we ended up in a situation where everything had to support IE6 in the first place, long years ago. But, you know, in a corporate setting, we can sometimes get away with just supporting, I mean, just newest versions of like Firefox and Chrome. All right, so maybe this will improve. We'll get this 2.85 seconds of estimated savings. Yeah, partner API calls. Yeah. Not much to do about that unless you can find some way to like cache it. Which I think you talked about before. Maybe? Anyway. Static assets with an efficient cache policy. Yeah. These should be cacheable in a sense. Yeah, you found a way to cache it, but it's just for one microservice. Yep. Like, we should be able to cache these indefinitely because the resources are, you know, have a different name each time they're generated. So for our location slash, where we're just serving static files, cache static files, ever.
Sapirako just rated with 1 viewers.
Well, hello, Sepirako and 1 viewer. Thanks for the raid. Welcome, welcome. We're doing some web dev. Hey, going pretty good. Trying to figure out how to set up Nginx to cache these static files indefinitely, and basically just letting Copilot take the wheel for a moment to see what it's going to tell us. I don't care about that. But yeah, trying to run through. It's so bright. Trying to run through some things to improve loading time for Daily Jewel, which is this little web app here. This is not a great view. This is a better view. Brainless said that microservice was lazy loaded in the past. He did that part too. Wasn't much of an issue on inception due to low usage. That's how it starts, right? Once 2 endpoints were required, about 1.5 seconds per call was unacceptable. Now it's 4 milliseconds. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, so the front end of this is React and a bunch of other things with Nginx fronting it. Nginx fronting both our API backend and then static assets generated by Vite. Previously, this app was using Next.js, and some of the past streams was like converting that over to Vite for reasons. And so now we're just kind of running through getting Nginx tuned a bit. Is that, I mean, I'm not going to just take VS Code Copilot's or GitHub Copilot's word on things. So let's see, expires max. Is that a thing? Instead, let me take the the word of random person on Stack Overflow. Sets browser cache expiration time far future. You should use it with caution. You'll not be able to say to the client it was changed. Fortunately, not an issue. Always exclude favicon. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That's a good call out. but not favicon. That's silly. Expires off. Won't take Copilot's word, but Stack Overflow is fine. I mean, I'm not going to take their word for it either. I'm going to treat all of these sources of information with suspicion. Oh yeah, so what were you thank you so much for the follow.
Tails just followed.
I have Tails. Thank you for following. I forgot to ask, but what were you streaming over there? I have a thing here. Sabiraco. So let's see if this works. So you were. Oh, they're a little loud? Yeah, I can tune that. Thanks for mentioning. I'll turn it down -3 decibels. We'll see how that improves it. So you were maybe working on a game? Need to remember to drink some water. Are there any other static assets? Let's see. If we look at the web app, go to what we're downloading. So index.html should also probably be excluded, and not index.html itself. There we go. Working on a larger CMS site with React and Strappy. STR API. What are you? Headless CMS. Nice. Now let's ditch Nginx and use Traffic. There is a Docker image. Cloud native application proxy. Oh no, cloud native. I've used that term to describe a thing I've built. Modern HTTP reverse proxy, load balancer. Here, I'll just bring this over here. See what you've done now? You haven't used it, but it seems so nice. I see. Oh boy. All right, we're talking about orchestrators and a service registry. Etcd. Now you want users to access these microservices, and you need a reverse proxy. I'm gonna put this over yonder, next to this other tab for LazyVim, and I'll be looking at that later. Thanks. I was going for like 4 hours and change, so I'm gonna lurk and recover for a bit. Sounds good. And the lurk command works too, which is really great. All right, so maybe this works. Okay, so we got another thing to test here. Let's see how many things we can throw at this. What else were we gonna try to do? So, oh, not the game. Taking hours to zip. Taking hours to zip. Wow. What's going on with this music? Is that intentional? Ominous sounding. Okay, well anyway. So I think this should be fixed with that change. Before looking at this, we were working on reducing our unused JavaScript. So I was going to pull up the Vite docs and see if there's something that we can find here that will help us with bundling. My best friend has a game dev company. It was supposed to be our company, but I decided to be greedy and went into finance right after university. I think I've heard... right after university, he keeps... Hold on. I don't know what's going on with that track, but I don't like it. Okay, anyway. He keeps trying to get me to join the company, but I am more into web development than game development. You just got to make a web-based game, right? Or do something where, like there's a lot of screens and stuff in the game, and that could all be web-based inside of the game. I don't know. How do we tune, hey, depth optimization options. Feet will crawl all your HTML files, detect dependencies, exclude, include, ESBuild options. So does Vite use ESBuild? I guess so. So here's something we can do, right? So we have this, and do we have, can we see the total? Okay, rendered 1.58 megabytes. So let's go through the code and find all the places where we're directly importing from material. And we're going to update all of the imports to not. It's not that many, and we don't care about Storybook. So let's see. I'm just going to do circular progress. Theme. Where does theme come from? Nope. I don't think so. Try that again. Maybe index. Import type. Nope, doesn't like it. Okay. There it is. Okay, are there any place? Yeah, there's another place where we're importing theme. Change that. In fact, Control-Shift-F. Replace all. There we go. All right, and let's find more places where we're importing from there. And again, I don't care about Storybook. Start closing tabs too. Here we go. Form helper text. So we're gonna try this and see if this is gonna improve our bundle size. And I see your chat, Brainless. You released the game like a year ago. They got lots of traction on Switch. Tormented Souls. I've not heard about it. You just figured out how to do replace all in Vim. In a file or like in a project? Project. I don't know how to do that. My feeling back when I was using Vim, that kind of like directory file and replace would be like using find and other command line tools. Yeah, using a plugin. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, more import fixes. I assume it can be done with a command, but more boilerplate. Well, you just, you make an alias. Oh, hold on. This is going to be the same thing. I'll just copy that over. There we go. And link. Wait. Okay, that's good. All right, so if we run this again, what was the total build size? Well, we see here, this was 824. It was like 1 point something. 1.58. You should try. I should try to set my NeoVim environment during the stream. It would be fun to watch. I don't know. Would it be? Okay. So it still says 1.58. It still says 824. Let's npm install, and then are there any other build steps we need to do? Like there shouldn't be in client. Lint build dev. Okay, I might have to do some more Googling. Okay, so Vite material UI tree shaking. Doesn't work. It's the first result. Here's material UI's page on bundle size. See, if you're using ES6 modules and a bundler that supports tree shaking, which I thought ES Build does, I will consider trying to get doing the NeoVim setup. I'll take a look at what you shared, and I'll refrain from moving forward on it and doing the setup. Maybe we can do that next coding stream. I'll think about it. Yeah, what you shared is like 30-second setup. Yep. Okay, so I might try that then, and then start looking into what it would take to like, what else I would do on top of that, and think about that, like I guess at this point we're like have like two very different projects that are being worked on that we'd want to set up things. Yeah, I mean, I have a Vim config, but that's a Vim config, not NeoVim, and it's from a long time ago. Yep. Yep. Right. So anyway, I was on this page because we're looking at something about tree shaking and that whether dead code elimination is the other term. It even comes with pre-made config. Well, that would save a step for the TypeScript. But then there's also the Kotlin modded Minecraft dev. That'll be fun, right? Set that up. Source map bundle. Is there anything about ES build in here? Build target. What is that? Browser compatibility. Okay. CSS minify default to ES build. So let's take a look at our v config. Yeah, we have no settings for build currently, so it should all be the defaults, which is ES build. ES build options. Okay. Let's try. Nope. So does this change anything? No Kotlin by default. Yeah, I'm sure there's some plugin out there, right? Or we have a third project, just making a plugin for Kotlin. So that didn't seem to change anything, and I still see components that we're not using here. Some of these things we definitely are. I don't know if this is like every component. We are using a lot of these. But like, we're not using Zod in any of the front end code, so I don't know why it's here. Oh. Wait. I mean, unit type and unit system. Sure, but we're not actually calling that. Like, all of that code should be dropped because I think we're just using that for the types. Oh yeah, for the language server. Like, what does this function do? You want to learn about LSPs? Use build rollup options that outputs at manual chunks to improve chunking. Build rollup options. Okay, so this change didn't do anything for us. Let's try looking at build. Nope, didn't like that. Let's see, what was it? Output? Okay. Hey, Copilot has some suggestions for us. What does this do? I might have mentioned it, but as we use proto... Oh yeah, I think you did mention protobufs with Ruby Interesting. Whenever the compiled Ruby files are created, the classes are weird, and you get no completion nor definitions for them in the Ruby code. You want to implement that. Interesting, interesting. So, colorful. So at least we get separate files. I don't know that we need like separate chunks for each thing. Like, so the thought here is, right, that if we have this, So first of all, I don't know if this will actually work, because maybe the name of the file, because it has that additional bit added to the name of it, might get changed each time. I don't know if it's based on, maybe it's just like a hash, so as long as the contents don't change, it'll be fine. If so, this will be good, because we'll essentially create a file with all of our React related stuff in it. And I don't need to run the visualizer. Let's just run npm run build. But if so, that will give us like a JS file that will won't change unless we change any of the React deps, which will be like, if we change one of those, we'll probably change multiple, and it will make sense. And in the meantime, anyone who's hit the site before will have that cached. So D23 ABA 3E. If we run the build again, do we get the same name? Yes. So it must have some kind of content hash based naming for this. So that got us down to some smaller bundles. We could throw in some other things in here, but we can also do like, we can have another thing here, which is going to be like Quagga. Yeah, Quagga, and let's see. Nope, that's not a thing. Good try. Are we using RxJS? Why is it in here? We are still using RxJS. Let's see, what else? Zod and other things. Actually, I might go back to looking at the bundle visualizer just to spot things easier. Alright, so now we have a deps. We got Quagga and RxJS. What we're using of RxJS anyway. See, this part is... So this is telling me like this is kind of working in terms of like tree shaking. Maybe something that we use refers to the switch component. A lot of the material things are things that we do use in the app. We could probably, let's see. You just have a separate bundle for all the material UI stuff. Like this. And run that again. Oh yeah, configure Kotlin and Neovim but no Java in path. Do you have Java installed? Is your path set correctly? Make a container. Fair. You don't want to install Java on your system? All right, did we successfully isolate? Okay, so we can also pull. So basically what I want to do is I want to have like maybe just our index.js just have only our components in it, and all the other stuff can be in other bundles. I mean, if I'm setting these up manually anyway, I might as well have them be nice. Tan stack. No. React query. React query. And Redux. That's not a thing. And Super JSON. Just pulled in by Zod, I think. Day.js. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Also, close all of those other tabs. Have to look for a Gradle plugin as well for NeoVim. Okay, so here's our index, and it looks like it's mostly just our stuff. Oh, MUI, icons, material. Hold on, let's go side by side. It'll be easier to see all of this. Okay, so I thought, yeah, icons, material. Okay, like I thought that should have been grabbed there. And then we can also do MUI X date pickers. And then yeah, everything else should be good. So that gives us bundles that are smallish, smaller than they were, like less than 80K after being gzipped. We'll run this one more time just to see, but yeah, it's an improvement, right? Even if we can't get rid of everything. Although I think we should be able to not ship Zod as part of the front end. I think there's, like, it should be, I think it's maybe just that native enum call maybe is the reason that it's getting pulled in. But there we go. Now we have separate bundles for kind of the app versus our deps. So for smaller deploys, like people who have already hit the site will already have the other assets cached. Here's some more stuff that's in index that we could bump out. What else? tRPC. I'm not sure why the server's in there. Okay. A few other grab bag things, but I think this should address a lot of the complaints here. Shall we deploy it? Oh, buttons do not have an accessible name. We should fix that. So that's our great. Where is that? That's in something nav? Site navigation? Yeah, so we have a few ARIA things, just not, one that actually says what it, there we go. So that's mobile nav, and there should be desktop navigation, which doesn't have that button. Or does it? It does not. Okay. Alright, so a bunch of things. What have we changed so far today? Okay, so we're gonna make a new branch and call this stream 2023-08-27. Work from our stream on August 27th. All right, so fix contrast issues for dark mode. Split to depths bundles and Vite config. Most of the rest of these changes are change MUI imports to individual files, which I think maybe is technically not actually needed at all, and things were smart, but I guess at least they're now consistent since we had a mix. And enable gzip text compression and caching of static files. Publish that. So some incremental improvements. We're gonna just ignore those dependent bot things. And here in a minute, we'll see what Storybook says in terms of if we broke anything. Probably will be some, there might be some visual changes, like ones that Storybook might pick up on. We'll see. All right. So, next Sunday is the 3rd. I think we'll still have a coding stream. So this upcoming weekend, so the next one, Labor Day weekend, is a 4-day weekend for me. So I will be, we can watch the build progress while I'm talking. There we go. GitHub Actions doing its thing. I got a 4-day weekend, so I'm not gonna update the schedule exactly on Twitch, but I do. Well, I might. I don't know. I'm going to probably be doing some extra streams. Starfield is coming out on the 1st for those that have early access, and I'm one of those. Actually got notice that the Constellation Edition package had, the shipping label had been created. So supposedly I'm supposed to get that before the 1st, so I have the game code. So I might do like an extra stream when I get that of like an unboxing. So that will probably happen this week. Or that might be like an extra thing before one of the normal streams on Monday or Wednesday, depending on how the timing works out. And then this Friday is going to be Starfield, if all goes according to plan. And probably I plan on streaming me playing like that initial playthrough, so probably just gonna have some extra streams over the weekend, next weekend. But the coding stream will happen again next Sunday, regardless. All right, so the build is looking good so far. I'm assuming this is going to have the same error. Yep. But if we look at one of these pages, yeah, that's good. All right, so the build was successful. Now, Chromatic is reviewing changes to the Storybook stories. And once this completes, we can go ahead and push this up, and we'll see how that has impacted our results on our page speed insights. Okay, unchanged, makes sense. So yeah, and then auto merged. So we're gonna create a new release. So we'll call this I don't know, 0.4. Go ahead and generate release notes. So this is the last week's stream and this week's stream. And this is not a pre-release. Not that that matters. We currently have it set up to do deploys even for pre-releases. Which maybe we'll change at some point. Maybe, you know, if this ever became like a real app that people were using, we'd probably have a non-prod environment that we can have pre-releases go to. Okay, so publish. And so this will trigger an action. There we go. Which will deploy to the website. That's the local site. Oh, also, quick add, it's still broken. We never fixed that. Yeah. Let's go to the backlog, and we're going to add a new item here. Quick add broken. Convert to issue. Daily Jewel. Edit description. Returns error. So that way I'll remember that we should fix that. And it's not actually in progress. We'll put it at the top of the backlog there. But I wanted to open the actual website here. And so we'll wait for the deploy to happen. So this builds our two Docker images. I guess we can see that, right? So we can look in here. So it's going to build and push Docker images for the front end and the back end. And then once those get pushed, the action then will SSH into the server and tell it to pull and reload the services. So this should just be like a minute, and then we can see if we've broken the website. Since we did, add Nginx changes, that's always it's always on the table. We could have just broken everything. All right, we should be able to see the deploy process happen too. So this is on the server pulling down those new images. And apparently we're recreating the containers. They're starting and or started, running. All right, looks like it completed. Do we still have an app? Didn't I add something to today's breakfast? Well, let's log out really quick. Log in. Ah, I see. Why is my phone making noise? I've gone over the length of time that I have set up where the I have like a do not disturb period on my phone for streams, and the stream has gone over enough that it has passed that period. Oh no, that was locally. That was locally where I did that today. I guess we can test it here too. There we go. Refresh and still there. Good. All right. So, I mean, we could probably just see if we look here, the number tab. Now we have several bundles. Didn't there used to be like a timeline view? Or am I'm thinking of Chrome. Yeah. All right. So let's look at. Can we request this be done again? Looks like yes. So I think that's better. What was it? It was like 3.5 seconds before, or no, it was like, what was the number before? So two long tasks found. So React. Largest contentful paint element. Yeah, okay. Render blocking resources. So index.css apparently. We could do critical CSS being delivered in line. So the other thing we could do, so instead of explicitly manually breaking up bundles, if we did actual code splitting, which, you know, it talks about in the VOD docs that I don't have open anymore, but, you know, using asynchronous imports to like delineate where different components pull in other things, that could be a way to reduce the initial page load time. And essentially, it should be able to make separate bundles of like, here's all the JavaScript you need for first page load. But there's going to be limits to that approach without doing a lot of additional work or doing something else like Next.js. but that's the trade-off, right? So the app is going to be maybe a little bit heavier to load, but the idea is going to be that it's something that can be an actual, like something that you load in your browser, and you can have potentially have like an offline mode and those sorts of capabilities, like get a service worker going installed in the browser and those sorts of things. And those are all things that I would want to do. Yeah, I know there's not a robots.txt file. Yep. Right. So we get some room on performance, and I guess we're getting dinged because we don't have a robots file. But the site is not really launched yet. It's not ready for anyone to sign up for. But yeah, okay. So some good progress today. Like if we look at here, we got a decent dark mode with like some good contrast on these things. I'm pretty happy about that. And some other performance improvements. And what else was it again? Whatever we said in the release notes. There we go, 257. gzip text compression, MUI imports, splitting depths into bundles, contrast issues. So a few things addressed today, and of course earlier in the stream, some fun trying to figure out how to make stuff happen in modded Minecraft. Okay, so that's gonna be it though for the stream today. Some credits are rolling here for the new follow. I have Tails, and I think it also credits the raids. Yes, there we go. Thanks again for the raid. All right, so thanks everyone for hanging out. Still getting a Kotlin image working? Well, let me know. You're gonna save me time. Lots of boilerplate. Okay. Are you planning on using Kotlin for something? Or are you just doing this for me? Because that's nope. Okay. Well, don't go out of your way. I mean, we could figure it out on stream too next time around. But thanks so much to you, Brainless, and to everyone for hanging out, for watching. We'll be doing this again next week, and some other streams, maybe potentially mini streams between now and then. So until then, take care. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much. Till next time, bye-bye.